Hi there. Can everyone hear us and see us okay? You can let us know in the chat section in the bottom right. Want to make sure that everyone has visibility.
I think we can start, Tom.
Great. Okay, cool. So first of all, Rocket.Chat would like to welcome you to our live session and webinar today. We'll do a brief round of introductions, a couple notes about the agenda and what we're going to get into, and then we will jump into the presentation. So first and foremost, my name is Tom Mersman. I'm a Senior Director of Enterprise here at Rocket.Chat. I also have one of my colleagues here today. His name is Bert Moons. Bert heads up our pre-sales solution architecture team, and he's going to be running us through some live demonstrations of our in-app chat experience today as well. So a couple quick notes on the presentation. We will save time at the end for Q&A, so you can utilize the chat feature in the bottom right and put any questions in during the presentation. We have a member of our team that will compile those questions, so at the end of the presentation, we can get answers to your questions. And then we're also going to be doing some polls today. We want some audience engagement. And so I will let you know when we're going to do those polls. And you can utilize the poll tab or the poll button in the bottom right to input your answers there. So today we're going to be talking about building secure chat experiences that convert, engage, and retain your users. And Pavithra, you can go to the next slide. Let's jump right in. Thank you. Great. So just a little bit about Rocket.Chat before we jump in. So Rocket.Chat enables secure collaboration worldwide. We are an open source communication platform. And one of the beauties of Rocket.Chat is that we are not a singular solution. We are a comprehensive suite of tools that can be combined to create custom workflows for whatever your organization needs, whether it's team collaboration, just employee to employee communication, omni-channel capabilities for customer service and customer support, or chat engine capabilities like we're going to be talking about today, where you can integrate a chat experience into your mobile or web-based application, your website, or a portal. And lastly, we also have our marketplace, which houses all of our apps and integrations. And we will talk about that a little bit in more depth today as well, because it also houses our apps engine, where organizations can create a custom app that's only applicable to your workspace. Next slide, please, Pavithra. Great. So let's jump in. Integrated chat experiences built just the way that you need them. There's a lot of reasons organizations come to Rocket.Chat for this type of functionality. It's ultimately to create customized and secure chat experiences on your website, your mobile or web-based applications without compromising on data security or data privacy. So three main reasons organizations do come to Rocket.Chat. The first is the ability to accelerate time to market and scale as you go. This is the age-old, buy versus build scenario here. And you can avoid years of in-house development and build secure chat experiences with minimal effort that your users will love. The second is that you can drive a branded chat experience with endless customization options. And that's because we are open source. And so you can leverage our pre-built chat components and utilize white labeling options to create a chat experience that fulfills your organization's highly unique needs. Every organization has different workflows they're looking to accommodate, and that's one of Rocket.Chat's biggest strengths. And lastly is because Rocket.Chat allows you to own your data and securely communicate with anyone, anywhere, at any time. So you can control access to sensitive information. You can exchange end-to-end encrypted messages. You can create custom user roles that also have role-based permissions that can be assigned to them. And you can also integrate with zero trust environments. Next slide, please, Pavithra. Okay, so we're going to do our first poll of the day. Utilize that poll button in the bottom right here. The first question is, what percentage of users expect a chat experience on your website or mobile application? Is it option 1, 30 to 40%, option 2, 40 to 50%, or option 3, more than 50%? We're not judging you based on the answers here, but I'll give everyone 10 to 15 seconds to input their answer. Okay, hopefully everyone had enough time to find that poll button and submit an answer. Pavithra, next slide, please. Great. For those of you that put option 3, that was the correct answer. And these statistics are not by Rocket.Chat. These are third-party surveys that were done. And what they found was that 62% of customers expect live chat capabilities on your website. So we live in a very digital age now where when a customer wants to engage with your brand and your business, they expect to be able to go to your website and interact directly from there. The difference and the discrepancy today is that only 9% of companies and organizations are actually utilizing live chat on their website. So there's this huge gap between what customers expect from you as an organization and what many organizations are actually offering today. And this is obviously a very fast-growing market as well. SuperOffice found that they believe 87% growth is expected in the next 12 to 18 months, and that by 2023, this is going to be $1 billion industry. So this is a major gap in what organizations are offering. And this is a solve that Rocket.Chat provides so you can engage those customers at the exact right time when they're visiting your website. Next slide, please. Thank you. Cool. So let's talk a little bit more in depth about how to actually do this, how to build chat experiences that convert, engage, and do retain your users. So the first idea is, you want to take your brand to where users are and give them what they want at that right time. So in-app chat is the preferred channel for customer communication. 75% of people prefer live chat over any other channel. I think gone are the days where a customer goes to your website and wants to fill out, a simple contact us form and wait 2 to 3 days to hear back. They want to engage with you when they're interested in learning more. This can also have a positive effect on sales, revenue, and customer satisfaction. 4 out of 5 companies said investing in live chat has a positive bearing on their immediate and long-term company growth. And lastly, this gives you the ability to humanize your website and facilitate real-time messaging. Embedding a chat engine on your website actually helps you increase website conversions by 12%, which you can imagine what that does to an organization's bottom line. Next slide, please. Now, one of the main reasons organizations trust Rocket.Chat for these types of capabilities is because we are one of the market's only on-premise chat engine. So you can deploy on-prem and take complete control and ownership of your data. You can safeguard your internal and external communications with the highest security standards. Like I mentioned earlier, we do offer end-to-end encryption. We are ISO 27001 certified, and we are GDPR, CCPA, LGPD, and HIPAA ready right out of the gates as well. So we work in some of the most strictest environments and policies possible. And that's why a lot of organizations decide to embed Rocket.Chat for this scenario. And another thing organizations expect, and what you should be thinking about when you are scoping out an initiative like this, is whatever vendor you decide, you should have user expected features in the palm of your hand. Now, whether that means enabling one-to-one or group conversations with the necessary chat features, or also allowing users to interact with one another through video, voice messaging, or secure file sharing. You should also have the ability to monitor engagement data to learn how they communicate, and also have the ability to moderate message content to keep the chat environment compliant with your own internal policies as well. Next slide, please. Great. And, we talked a little bit about Rocket.Chat being open source, but that gives you the ability to build on open source with full trust. So here at Rocket.Chat, everything is out in the open. You can leverage the open source flexibility, which empowers you as the organization to extend our platform to meet your exact needs. And you get complete access to the source code, and you can develop additional features with ease, whether it's through our apps engine or some of the out-of-the-box integrations that we have. We are able to accommodate many different unique workflows as well because we're open source. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into some of the industries that have come to Rocket.Chat to enable two-way communication and increase engagement and retention. The beauty of live chat and chat engine is that this transcends any type of industry. We work with many different industries. A very strong one for Rocket.Chat in this scenario is healthcare, right? We have healthcare organizations that come to us to centralize all of their healthcare conversations under a single HIPAA-ready messaging app and to drive better patient outcomes. If you're in the healthcare industry, you know that patient engagement is a big topic today, and that's exactly what Rocket.Chat's chat engine offers healthcare organizations the ability to do. Also, e-learning, so education and education technology. You can establish a strong internal and external collaborative environment for students, teachers, other staff members that are involved, and even parents. You can increase efficiency and transform the learning experience for both students, teachers, and parents. Financial services is a very large industry for Rocket.Chat as well. We have financial services organizations that come to Rocket.Chat to completely redesign the user experience in their mobile banking applications to meet the needs of their customers. On-demand scenarios, you can communicate with your users in real time. You can simplify the overall efficiency. You can humanize the service and ultimately reduce booking cancellations, which also helps the bottom line for organizations. And last but not least, e-commerce and marketplace, another very large industry for Rocket.Chat. You can encourage buyers and sellers, and sellers and sellers to connect and communicate within your app. The idea is that you don't want them to have to leave your app for any type of communication. You want your app to be the one-stop shop for them. That will help you increase engagement, increase your conversion rates with your users, and ultimately retain those users for the long term. And now, Bert, I'll invite you to the stage. Let's jump into some actual use cases and examples of how we've done this for some of our customers.
Thanks a lot, Tom, for that great introduction. So today we're going to show you, of course, a little bit about how we can set this into practice. So because I think Tom just explained it, especially why it's so important for you as a customer. So what we would like to show you here is 3 different examples. So the first one is how you can become HIPAA compliant with a chat experience on your web platform. The second one that we're going to also explain a little bit more is that how can we also do the same type of actions, but then also for the student-teacher combination. So as an example, today we have been explaining, for example, for 25 different universities, how we can also elaborate with them and how they can have better student-teacher communications there. And of course, also as a third example, in the third example, we also would like to check that it's not only about sending messages between different people, but also chat can also help you to deliver the mission critical objectives. So this is also one example that we also would like to highlight here a little bit. In the next slide, I'm going to explain to you very shortly what we're going to show to you live in the demo. So in the first part of the demo, we're going to show you the default user experience from Rocket.Chat. In the default user experience, you will see what you can see as an end user. And after that, we also will see that how this also can be integrated into a custom user experience. So how the look and feel is if you have Rocket.Chat integrated, for example, into your website with some existing use cases. Third, what we're going to do is also we're going to show you also live how you can create a chat. And also if you can create a chat, how you can invite users, how you can do this via the API call. So we'll just show you all of this live. And of course, also we would like you to get started ASAP also yourself. So we will also then jump to the documentation and explain where you can do this yourself. So let me right now start sharing my screen and check. I think you can see my screen right now. Tom, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can, Bert.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. That's great. So what can we see here? So this is one example of a healthcare demo that we have created. In this healthcare demo, the first thing that you see is a white labeled welcome screen. In this white labeled welcome screen, you can see that I added there my own logos. You can see a welcome screen for a healthcare demo. Here, I also added here my own logos. And of course, we have a very nice page showing you some redirects to analytics, audit trails, and support. What's quite important to know is that this page that you see here can be very easily tuned according to your needs. The goal is that if you have deployed this type of environment, that you just make a welcome screen that's relevant for your organization. So the next thing that you see on the left side, you will see my user account. So this is Bert. You see my presence. You will see if I'm available or not. And you will also see that I'm part of one particular team. I'm part of some group conversations. We call this channels, and we also are part of some direct messages. So let me maybe first start with the teams. So Bert is a user, and we can, of course, create users and groups via the APIs, but we also have the possibility to also synchronize all of those via LDAP. So what we have been doing in this particular example, we see that Bert is a doctor. And in this case, we can see that we do have multiple doctors. We have Dr. Mihart, Dr. Hindi, Dr. Katie. So we have multiple doctors. And all of these doctors, they are set in a doctor's team in our LDAP environment. So once we're adding a new doctor in the LDAP, will be automatically synced here as a member within Rocket. And why is this so important? This is so important because from the moment that the people are added into the central user registry, they will be also receive the right security roles here, but we will also make sure that they will also participate in the right Teams channel. So in this case, once a new doctor will be added into our LDAP, they will be automatically also participating into the emergency channel, and they also can participate in the neurology channel and oncology channel. So this gives you the possibility to make sure that all of the people who are just entered the team, that they just always will participate the right team channels. So let me maybe just first jump here from the teams then to one of the channels. This is the emergency channel. So in the emergency channel, you can see that we do have some the possibility to send some text messages. I can type in some text here. I can also send some smileys here, of course. I also have the possibility to exchange here some audio files if I would like to do this, do some recordings. I have the possibility to share some video messages to start some discussions, or of course also share some attachments. Now, what have we been doing already here in the past is that, as you can see that already sent here a message, all patients at AR need immediate support. Can someone go to the AR room? I can just click on a reply here and just say that one of my colleagues already replied and say, okay, me and the rest of the teams are going now. So I can just already, let's say, send already some messages in the thread in a very user-friendly way and making sure that all of the people get notified and that they also can send their replies. How do I know that all of the people also get notified? I can see that we are tagging people with, for example, at all, that we can notify everybody in this room. I also have the possibility to say that I only would like to notify, for example, my colleague Jose. So in this case, I have the possibility to easily notify the right people where they, so they will be attended to join this chat. On the right top corner, you can also see different types of actions that we have available. You can see that we can start a call, start a discussion, we can do a search, and you will also see notifications exporting a lot of different functionalities available. So there's a lot of functionalities here to collaborate with your team members in a very easy and user-friendly way. Maybe one thing I also would like to show you is that also on the right side, you will also see that you have a lot of different checkboxes available. Why are these checkboxes so important for you? This just gives you the possibility to see that if somebody has read the messages. So I'm sharing a message with my colleagues, and in this overview, I can see that, oh, this Bert shared the messages at that time. He has been reading the messages. Dr. Hindi has been reading the messages, and Dr. Katie has been reading the messages. So this gives me a very clear overview who has been reading the messages at what time. So what we've been showing you here right now is the default Rocket.Chat user interface. You can see that we can notify people. We can also tag people if you would like to do this. But all of this, of course, is quite powerful because we are showing this in our default user interface, but we also have all of these functionalities also available via APIs. And now it becomes quite interesting. So how can you right now also, for example, show this and make this also available within your website? So let us, for example, go to an example website. So we have here a Mars hospital, an example hospital, of course. In this Mars hospital, you can see there's a lot of different, a nice look and feel that we see there. And somebody here logged on in this hospital, the person called Andrea, and she said, I would like to speak to my doctor. So what you would like to do is you can see that these are the doctors that I have available. So Daniel, Mary, and Michael. And I say that I would like to speak to Daniel in this case. Once she's clicking on I would like to speak to Daniel. So what's happening on this one, you can see that there will be a live chat available and you can say that so I'll send in some messages here and then you will see that Andrea can start a live chat with the doctor if she would like to do this. So how does it look like for the doctor itself? So the doctor itself, he can, for example, see that he will have a Rocket Chat interface available and he can see at the back end, oh yeah, And you can send in some messages, for example, tag somebody here, and just it's a very easy, very user-friendly way of just starting communication on your website. You can see that on your website integrated all of the Rocket.Chat functionality. So how have we done this right now? So first of all, you can easily do this via an iframe integration. But the second one is maybe even more interesting. That's via our API integration. So let us maybe show to you how we can do this. And I see that already some colleagues are, of course, are already responding here. And I can see that, hi, Andrea. So you see that we're starting up immediately a live interaction on the website between the doctor and between the patients here. So how can you right now easily integrate also all of these functionalities? I just explained the first thing is via the iframe, and the second thing is via the APIs that we have available. So let me maybe show to you how we can display all of these APIs. So for showing to you the APIs, we're using Postman. I don't know if you know Postman, but Postman is a quite well-known external tool that you can find online. And via this external tool, it's quite easy and quite user-friendly to do API calls. So I'm right now going to open up here Postman, and you can see that I can do a patient engagement and adding also healthcare specialist. And in the patient engagement, you can see that a lot of different actions I can do. I can start creating a new patient, creating a room, move a room. And for all of these labels that you see here, for example, creating a new patient, you can see that I'm doing this particular API call. This is a Rocket.Chat API call that we're doing here. And these are the parameters that we're passing to Rocket.Chat to make sure that we are going to create live a new patient, that we're going to create live a new room, and that we're just going to start up some interactions here. So all of the functionalities you've just seen in our web interface, so what I just showed, how I can create a new channel, how I can start the conversation with teams and channels and anything like that, all of these functionalities can be done via these type of API calls. So let me just maybe also show you live how it works. So I'm going to do here a split screen. So on the left side, I will do my API calls. On the right side, I will just show to you live what will happen in the user interface. So let me just show you this one. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new room, and I'm going to create a new room, and that room is called patient 01. And I'm going to add two particular members to this room. So let me just click here on send. So what will happen in the backend is you will see that once the moment I'm sending in a new API call, you can see a new room has been created here. A new room or a new channel has been created. It's called patient 01. What can I see in my API calls? I can see here some responses, and in the responses, I can see what is the feedback that Rocket.Chat is giving me if I'm doing this type of API. So the second thing that I'm going to do is that just making sure that this particular room I just created will be part of the right team. So I'm just going to do an API call to get team ID. Then I'm going to move this particular room to the right team. Just going to execute a few API calls. And then, of course, a very important one, then I'm going to post a message, send message API call here. And this is the message that I'm going to send. So, hi, young patient. This patient is waiting for you in this particular room. So I'm going to send this message. You will see here that the message ID was okay. So let me right now on the right side just open up this particular message, and you will see, hi, Dr. Hindi, this patient is waiting for you in this room. So what have we just been doing here within our API calls? In the API calls, we just created a new room, added two particular members. So you can see that Dr. Hindi and this particular patient here as part of this group. Dr. Hindi is already typing something because Dr. Hindi just got notified. So thank you, I will be there shortly. So it's quite a user-friendly way, making sure that we can, via the API calls also in the backend, also create a new channel and also create adding users there and notifying them, of course. In this particular example, what we would like to show you is that the first thing is, of course, we have a patient 01 and Dr. Hindi. But what we're going to do is that we see that Dr. Hindi is maybe not able to help this particular patient. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an additional specialist to this room. So I just can click here on send. What will happen? You see that Bert added just the user Ionut. So Ionut is one of the colleagues, and he's our specialized colleague for this particular example. We just added him to this room, and we would like to also notify Ionut that there's a patient waiting on him. Hi, Dr. Miart. You just entered the room, so please, can you please help this particular patient? So this is a nice user-friendly way of just showing how we can do, first of all, a lot of different actions within the Rocket.Chat user interface. The second thing is showing this also in a custom user interface. And then, of course, the third thing, and maybe also one of the most important things, making sure that you also can do all of these things via the API calls. So all of the API calls, of course, we know how they work, and we also know how easy it is to set up all of these type of integrations. But of course, we would also like to that you have the chance to just play around with these API calls. So if you go to the developer.rocket.chat, you will see that on the left side, there's a menu called APIs. You can go to the REST APIs. The first thing that you will see here is you will find some language specific wrappers that you can see here for different languages. And the second thing that you will see here is what are the different endpoints that we have available. So you will see different endpoints for some important ones, some for our apps, for some core endpoints available. If you click on this one, for example, you will get here a very nice overview of all of the different endpoints that we have available. And if you click on the link, then you will find all of the different details. Our goal is to make sure that you have a very easy, very flexible way of starting to enabling also Rocket.Chat via the APIs onto your website. Before we're jumping back to the before we're jumping back to these slides, it's one thing that I maybe forgot to show to you, but I really would like to highlight this quickly is that I just showed you how the end user interface looks like, how you can also do this via from a developer point of view, how you can also easily integrate this one. But of course, we also have our administrators. So what can our administrators do, of course, on this platform? So they have a full web interface available. So if you go to Bird and then to administration, they will see that they have all of the different configuration modules, integration, extension modules. All of these things are also available via the admin screen. So in this particular example, you can see what's the deployment, what's the license that they have active, how many users that are on the system. You can request some dashboards, for example. And we also going to maybe show you here quickly how we can do some user management on the platform. So in this particular example, we do have these are the different users. And for each different user, we can also see that they have one or multiple user roles available. In this case, Bert is an admin, a user, and a live chat agent. So how does it work right now? It works with our role-based permissioning that we have available. In the role-based permissioning, I can click on this one, and on the top, I can
We may have lost Bert for a second. Let's just give him a minute. Let me send him a note. Pavithra, if you want to pull the slides up again while we're waiting, that might be a good idea. Thanks. And just to paraphrase what Bert was getting at, it is that organizations, specifically in a lot of the industries we mentioned, whether it's healthcare, financial services, government, technology, education, they tend to have a need to create not only custom roles, but roles that have those custom permissions. And there are 181 different role-based permissions that you can assign to a specific user. So you can get very granular in terms of what you allow a user in this instance to do or not be able to do, which obviously will help with both your internal and external compliances. And then lastly, one thing we wanted to hit on was that it looks like we have Bert back.
Thanks for covering, Tom. Yes, it
No
seems
problem.
we've got an internet connection. So here, yes, so we're just, I think, explaining a bit what you can do from an end user perspective, from a developer's perspective, and of course, last but not least, what can you do from an admin perspective? So for the admins, they can create all of the users. They can have the role-based permissioning, as I just was showing. And in the role-based permissioning, let me just maybe also quickly share this with you, how it looks like.
Yep.
It gives our admins, I think you can see my screen right now again. So
Yes.
in the role-based permission, you can see all of the roles on top. I can also add here on clicking plus adding new roles. So I have the possibility to just say that I would like to create a new role, doctors, for example, or some other roles that I would like to add here. And of course, I also just can check, do I want to enable two-factor authentication for this particular role? And then I can save this one. And for each different role, I can see what features I would like to enable or what that I would like to disable. So for example, I can say that does this user would like to have the chance to do an auto translation? Can this user view audit trails? Can this user, for example, clean channel history? So based on your security roles, it's quite easy to just enable or disable specific functions. We see a lot of functionalities from user provisioning. We see a lot of functionalities from role-based permissions there. But of course, where is the real power behind it is that if you can automate all of this one. So for example, in this particular case, I'm just going to show you how you can enable this one with the LDAP integrations. You can configure here the LDAP that you would like to set up, and you have the possibility to say that I would like to synchronize particular LDAP groups with particular roles. Or I would like to synchronize my team mappings from LDAP to particular Rocket.Chat teams. Making sure that if you have a large set of users there or a large set of groups available, that you also easily can automate all of this user and group provisioning into your systems. For the people who have been very watching on the details, you could already see that I have a large screen here available to also configure my analytics, configure how I can set up different types of bots, how I can do my end-to-end encryption. So all of these settings, all of this can be also configured via the backend admin screens, but of course also APIs if you want to. Last but not least is that we also have our apps market available. And in the apps market, you have the possibility to extend the default functionalities from Rocket.Chat. So we have a lot of different apps here available. So for example, to connect to different bots, we have some integrations with Confluence. So we have a lot of different apps available, data loss prevention apps. So a lot of different apps here available to extend all of the functionalities with the integrations that you need, or maybe also with some additional functionalities like a reminder that you maybe would need in the platform. This complete app framework is available also to our customers and to our partners to also create our own apps. So just to let you know that it's quite easy, quite flexible to also just building different types of integrations so you can extend the platform. As an example, we have recently released a whiteboarding integration, so customers also have the possibility while they're chatting with somebody that they just can also move to a whiteboarding integration also. This is a little bit of what I was planning to show you in the live part, and right now I would like to hand over back to the presentation screen from Pavitra so we can proceed with the slides. Let me check, perfect. So we just showed to you, first of all, one example from the healthcare, what you can do, how easy it is, and how you can easily integrate this one. In the screenshot that you see here, you can also see that we have this also, of course, available for student and teacher communications. A big difference in this one next to the other one is that for the student and teachers, we have also enabled here the presence. So will see here for Daniel Collins a nice green dot, or for example with Michael a nice red dot, making sure that the students can see that which teachers are available, which ones are not available. This is one example for the student-teachers communications, but next to this also we have in the next screenshot also an example for the, and this example was a mission critical use case where they really could say that how could the different crew members here talk to each other, and making sure that if we are tagging somebody that this particular person get notified and seeing all of these messages in the right order based on when they got tagged there. Making sure that all of the different teams can see that who's talking to who when, and what was for them also very important is also the read reception, making sure that if I'm, for example, tagging Tom in this case, that I can also see, oh, Tom, I've seen my messages and he's probably right now moving to this to the runway or to the maintenance wherever he's. Thanks. And of course, we have our next poll popping up right now again. So you will see a poll popping up. So how many production hours does it take to build the live chat experience? The option one is less than 500 or 500 hours, or of course, option two, more than 500 hours. Let's take a few seconds to see what everybody's responding. I see. Okay, that's good. So how many production hours does it take to build a live chat experience? Option two. So let's right now move to the next slide. Perfect. Thanks. So I think first of all, Tom explained to you a little bit why we see that for our customers it's so important to have an integrated chat on their web platforms available. And what is the difference that Rocket.Chat can help you with? First of all, in the time to market. We just showed you live how easy it is to run different types of API calls, and also how easy it is to also make sure that you can easily integrate these ones into your website. We also showed you a few customer-facing channels, making sure that if you, for example, have a student, a teacher communication or a doctor-patient communication, how easy it is and making sure that the right people also get notified. We also try to show to you how you easily can extend the Rocket.Chat platform with the app market. Within the app market, sorry for the background noise. So within the app market here, you also can see that we have a lot of apps ourselves available, or you also have the possibility to also extend the platform yourself. And of course, also at the bottom, you will see a lot of administration tools for the role-based permissioning, the user available there, user and rooms that you easily can make them available, extend to someone, and of course, maybe the most important one, also automate all of them so that you know that once you have set it up in a correct way, making sure the right people with right permissions also can access all of the right channels and the right communications there. Thank you very much. And with the slide, I would like to hand over back to Tom.
Thanks, Bert. Appreciate it. Great. So just to recap and in a nutshell, we've obviously talked through a lot of different use cases and scenarios and industry specific options today. But the main point that we want to convey to the audience today is that every business benefits from a modern chat experience. And it's probably time to start building yours if you don't have one yet, even just based on the third-party survey of what customers expect when they land on your website or utilizing your applications. First, we'll go back to the build versus buy scenario and your ability to accelerate your time to market with a fully robust and proven solution like Rocket.Chat. You can ship faster by leveraging our easy to use chat APIs instead of developing from scratch. And you can scale naturally based on your specific needs, team size, and concurrent users. If you are debating on the build versus buy scenario, it's important to note that when you build this right out of the gates, it's not just about getting to an MVP or a version 1. There is inevitable product maintenance and product evolution that will also need to happen that will continue to be a resource constraint on your team. The second is that you can customize anything and you can integrate everything. You can introduce chat capabilities and features while remaining consistent with your branding. And you can also integrate with the systems and tools you use every day to streamline workflows and eliminate context switching. And lastly is that you have flexible deployment options to comply with the highest security standards. You can have complete control over your data by deploying Rocket.Chat on-premise, in a secure cloud, or even in an air-gapped environment, which many of our customers do decide to use. And you can safeguard your internal and external communications with the highest security standards. And lastly, again, this isn't just us telling you this. That's why we've brought in third-party surveys, but we also have a customer testimonial. So Retail Story is an existing customer of ours, and their chief technology officer told us that the main reason why we chose Rocket.Chat was the flexibility to work with the code to build upon it to a very specific need that we have. We knew we didn't have resources and in-house expertise to build a complete and robust omni-channel live chat solution. So that's why they chose Rocket.Chat. And by doing so, they achieved a 97% customer engagement satisfaction rate. Next slide, please, Pavitra. And lastly, we have created a channel for any attendees today in our open workspace. And so if you have additional questions that you want to engage with us in real time, we encourage you to join this channel. We will send the link after this as well. And if you'd like to engage in a one-on-one setting, you can schedule a meeting with myself, Bert, or any other member of the team. And we would love to dive into the specific workflows that your organization would need to accommodate. We're very adept in these scenarios, and we would be happy to have a discussion live.